Hey guys, I'm CNET's Ryan Christ here with the Samsung RF32FMQDBSR. Now this is a fridge that sort of borrows the aesthetic of the $6,000 Chef Collection model and sells at a much lower price, at $4,000. That's still a very expensive fridge, but a lot better than that $6,000 price tag. It's built to appeal to shoppers who like that Chef Collection's look, and it does a pretty good job. It looks just like it with the same flat front and recessed handles, four-door design, very interesting, unique, good-looking fridge. Of all the $4,000 fridges I've tested and reviewed, this is my favorite one on looks alone. And I also like that you get the Cool Select Plus compartment, this section down here. This is part of the freezer, but you can also dial it up into fridge mode. So if you wanted extra storage space for fresh items, it'll do the job. That said, it's not a carbon copy of the Chef Collection. You're missing out on a lot of the features that make that fridge really interesting. You don't get a chef's pan inside the fridge for marinating steaks. You don't get a chef pantry that's a temperature-controlled drawer at the bottom. You don't get the chef basket that you can pull out. All those luxury features are gone, and instead you get a pretty simple interior. You have a fold-in shelf and a fold-up shelf to make room for tall items. And you get some features that kind of don't make sense. These shelf dividers here in the door, for instance, they're just not that great. They kind of get in the way, they block things off. You can take them out, but then you gotta put them somewhere, so kind of a pain. Also, this egg basket up here doesn't really fit a carton of eggs. It didn't make much sense to me and just kind of made it harder to get into the back half of that shelf, so not the greatest feature. Now this fridge was a pretty consistent performer in our tests, but it also consistently ran a little bit warm, a couple degrees in each test. At the 37-degree setting, you can see that it ran a little closer to 40 degrees with the light green and light purple line there at the top being the bottom sections of each door. And then at 34 degrees, it also ran about 3 degrees warm, averaging closer to 37. For better cooling performance from a French door model, I like this LG model shown here. It was a little bit more consistent in our test and more accurate too. It also costs less than this model. But if you just want a fridge that offers pretty stunning design at this price range, I think this fits the bill, and none of the shortcomings are bad enough to undercut that. There's plenty more in my full review at cnet.com. Check it out. For CNET Appliances, I'm Ryan Christ.